I hate people telling me what to do.
Ow!
Welcome back to More Girls Next Door, the podcast where we revisit every episode of The Girls Next Door, one ridiculously oversized faux fur boot at a time. I'm your host, Girls Next Door mega fan and Y2K survivor Megan. Come on to my house. Today we're heading to the mountains for Season 3, Episode 6, Snowboarded, which originally aired April 14th, 2007. The girls trade stilettos for snowboards as Burton whisks them away to Vail, Colorado for what looks like the ultimate sponsored ski vacation. Olympic snowboarding superstar Shaun White joins them on the slopes. Bridget commits harder to the Playboy Bunny aesthetic than an actual NFL mascot. Kendra becomes determined to conquer a rail, whether gravity agrees or not. And Holly quietly experiences something much bigger than a snowboarding lesson. For the first time in 6 years, she spends the night away from Hef. It's easy to overlook because the episode is wrapped in gorgeous mountain scenery, custom snowboards, and spa treatments. But looking back, this episode is really about control. Learning control on a snowboard, letting go of control, and trying to control how other people see you. But before we hit the slopes, I've got a little housekeeping. If you've been enjoying More Girls Next Door, thank you so much for listening. I'd love for you to leave a 5-star review wherever you listen to podcasts. Then just email a screenshot of your review to moregirlsnd@gmail.com, and you'll automatically be entered to win a More Girls Next Door Y2K Survivor hoodie. I've decided to keep this giveaway going for the foreseeable future, so there will be multiple winners throughout the season. And with that, now it's time to crack open the Y2K vault. April 2007 was the month Tumblr launched. At first, it looked like another blogging website. Instead, it became one of the defining social platforms of the late 2000s. Unlike Facebook, where your aunt could comment on your photos, Tumblr was anonymous. Art, fashion, memes, fandoms, photography. If MySpace was decorating your bedroom, Tumblr was decorating your personality. People weren't just posting, they were curating an identity. And looking back, that ties into today's episode nicely. Everyone is presenting the version of themselves they most want the world to see. Bridget wants everyone, including random strangers on a ski mountain, to know she's a Playboy Bunny. Kendra wants everyone to know she's an athlete. And Holly, without really realizing it, starts showing us someone who's beginning to exist outside the mansion. So let's kick off those candies, hang up the trucker hat, and silence your sidekicks for Season 3, Episode 6 of The Girls Next Door, Snowboarded.
Hey, Mary.
Hey, babe, how are you?
I'm good. I have to be here today because the Burton people are coming to drop off all our supplies for snowboarding.
Us girls decided that we wanted to go snowboarding, and I had some connections at Burton. From there, the whole thing just exploded.
Vacation. We need it. We worked so hard on the calendar. We deserve this.
Hey, would you mind doing me a favor and calling Kendra to wake her up?
We open in Mary's office, where Holly is stopping by to let her know representatives from Burton are coming to the mansion. They're going to outfit the girls for an upcoming trip to Vail, Colorado. Now, sponsorships were becoming a much bigger part of The Girls Next Door by Season 3. The show had become such a hit that companies weren't just loaning products anymore. They wanted entire episodes, travel destinations, fashion brands, automobiles, restaurants. Everyone wanted a little Girls Next Door exposure. Burton couldn't have picked better ambassadors. 3 beautiful women, snow-covered mountains, luxury accommodations, Olympic athletes. It's basically one long commercial that just happens to have confessionals. Before Holly leaves, though, she asks Mary for one very important favor. Can you make sure Kendra gets up? Apparently, the Burton representatives are arriving shortly, and Holly is concerned Kendra might sleep through the entire thing. Which, fair. If we've learned anything over 3 seasons, it's that Kendra operates on what can only be described as her own time zone. We cut to an example of gentle parenting before gentle parenting was a TikTok topic.
Okay, here we go.
Kendra? Kendra? This is a voice from the phone.
Hello, Kendra.
Hello?
Over the speakerphone in Kendra's room, you hear Mary's voice. Kendra? Kendra? Hello? She's not waking a 21-year-old. She's trying to coax a woodland creature out of hibernation. The room is dark. The bedspread is pulled up over Kendra's face. Kendra, are you awake? Eventually, Kendra surfaces looking exactly like someone who has no memory of agreeing to anything happening before noon. Downstairs, Burton representative Matt arrives rolling a rack of the latest winter fashions. The girls immediately start trying everything on. Bridget is drawn toward bright colors. Holly gravitates toward cleaner, more understated looks. Kendra mostly seems excited that this means she's about to go snowboarding. The girls begin trying on jackets, pants, gloves, goggles, basically every piece of clothing Burton made in 2007. During the fitting, we learn Olympic snowboarder Shaun White will actually be joining them on the mountain. And FYI, it's difficult to overstate how enormous Shaun White was back in 2007. He wasn't simply a good snowboarder. He was the snowboarder. Just the year before, in 2006, he'd won the Olympic gold in Turin. He'd already become a multiple-time X Games champion. He dominated half-pipe competitions. Companies couldn't sign endorsement deals with him fast enough. His signature red hair earned him the nickname the Flying Tomato, although he eventually admitted he wasn't exactly thrilled with that nickname. He had video games, commercials, magazine covers. Kids wanted his snowboard. Teenagers wanted his hair. Adults who had never touched a snowboard somehow knew who Shaun White was. This wasn't like meeting a local instructor. This was like hearing Michael Phelps was coming to teach you how to swim, or Simone Biles offering to critique your cartwheel. So naturally, Kendra tells us she can't wait to compare her snowboarding skills to his. Kendra has this wonderfully unshakable confidence where she always assumes she's entering someone else's field as an equal competitor. It's like me saying, I hear Paula Abdul is teaching today's jazzercise class. Can't wait to show her what I've got. No, I'm a good dancer, but I'm stretching in the back and praying she doesn't notice me. Once everyone's fully dressed, they decide Hef needs to see the new outfits. So down they march into the grand foyer wearing complete Burton snowboarding ensembles, complete with price tags still dangling from nearly every zipper. One by one, they strut past Hef like they're on a runway. He laughs through the entire thing. He isn't laughing at them. He's laughing because they're entertaining him. The girlfriends created so much of the daily atmosphere around the mansion. Little impromptu performances like this were part of that.
The morning that we left to go snowboarding, we had to get up so early. My alarm went off at 4 a.m. and I was thinking, oh, no way.
We all 3 went in the room and we all kind of surprised them with a goodbye kiss.
At 4:05 the next morning, the digital alarm clock lights up. It's departure day. Before heading to the airport, the girls stop by Hef's bedroom to kiss him goodbye. And knowing what Holly has said years later, this tiny moment becomes surprisingly significant. Because according to Holly, this was the first night she'd spent away from Hef in 6 years. 6 years. Think about that. Not 6 years of dating. 6 years without spending a night somewhere else. When you hear it phrased that way, it really illustrates just how insulated life at the mansion had become. Most couples don't spend every single night together. People travel, visit family, go on work trips, attend weddings. But Holly had become so intertwined with mansion life that one overnight trip to Colorado was genuinely significant. And I don't even think she fully realized it yet. Sometimes your world becomes smaller without you noticing. Then one tiny experience suddenly reminds you there's a whole lot outside of it. The flight to Colorado goes by in classic Girls Next Door fashion. There's a shot of a plane soaring across the sky, and then suddenly we're treated to sweeping aerial views of snow-covered mountains. And Vail really is gorgeous. The mountains seem endless. Everything is covered in fresh snow. The pine trees look like they've been dusted with powdered sugar. And after spending 3 seasons almost exclusively inside the pink and green world of the Playboy Mansion, the scenery is a welcome change.
We were set up in this really cool condo with a spiral staircase with these awesome rooms.
Oh my gosh.
Treat!
They had chocolate platters waiting for each of us.
Oh my God, we each have a dessert plate.
Oh, that's
The girls arrive at the Vail Cascade Resort and Spa, where a shuttle whisks them through town toward their accommodations. Now, Vail wasn't just any ski town in 2007. It was, and still is, one of the premier ski destinations in North America. World-class slopes, luxury resorts, designer boutiques, celebrity sightings. If Aspen has a glamorous little sister, it's Vail. The condo they're staying in is absolutely beautiful, with stone fireplace, vaulted ceilings, massive windows overlooking the mountains, welcome gifts, and enough snack trays to feed a youth soccer team. While they're unpacking, something occurred to me that I completely missed when I first watched this. Nobody seems tense. The mansion always has this underlying current running beneath it. Who's keeping Hef company? Who's expected downstairs? Who's late for movie night? Who's sleeping where? Even in fun episodes, there's usually an invisible schedule everyone is orbiting around. Here, there isn't. For perhaps the first time on the series, the girls are simply existing somewhere else. Nobody's checking in. Nobody's wondering whether Hef is waiting. The atmosphere feels lighter. And knowing what Holly has shared over the years, I can't help wondering if she felt it too. Maybe not consciously. Maybe she wasn't thinking, wow, I finally have a little freedom. But sometimes your body notices something before your brain does. Sometimes you suddenly realize you're relaxed because you've forgotten to be on alert. The girls barely have time to settle in before the doorbell rings. Standing outside are 2 Burton employees who have come to help everyone get fitted for the day's snowboarding.
I wanted to do like the snow bunny theme. So, of course, I had to attach my bunny ears and my tail because I was a snow bunny.
I don't dress up in like a little snow bunny outfit.
Yeah! I'm ready.
I like looking like hardcore snowboarder, you know?
And this is where today's episode completely loses me. Because while Holly and Kendra are putting on practical snow gear, Bridget decides practicality is for quitters. She places giant turquoise bunny ears over her knit beanie, and she pins an enormous white cottontail onto the back of her snow pants. Why? Who is this for? She's not at the Playboy Mansion. She's not even at a Playboy event. She's about to strap herself onto a snowboard. This is the equivalent of someone wearing Mickey Mouse ears to jury duty. Technically, you can, but no one was expecting it. And before anyone thinks I'm just picking on Bridget, I actually think this says something interesting about her. One of the recurring themes we've talked about throughout the series is how deeply Bridget wanted to belong within Playboy. She'd dreamed about Playboy for years before moving into the mansion. She'd auditioned multiple times. She worked incredibly hard. And while she accomplished so much, she never achieved the one thing she'd always wanted: a monthly Playmate centerfold. She appeared in special editions, she modeled, she became one of the faces of an enormously successful television show. But she never became Miss Whatever Month. I honestly wonder, had that happened, would she still have felt such a strong need to visibly identify herself as a bunny everywhere she went? Because we've seen it repeatedly. Whenever there's an opportunity to incorporate bunny ears, a tail, or some kind of Playboy branding, Bridget can't resist. It's almost as if she's reassuring herself. See? I belong here. Of course, that's just my interpretation. Only Bridget knows what was actually going through her mind. But I do find it fascinating, especially because Holly doesn't seem to have that same need. Nor does Kendra. Their relationship with Playboy feels very different. Bridget's relationship with Playboy almost feels aspirational, even while living inside of it. Once everyone is suited up, they head for the mountain, and upon arrival, the girls split into two very different groups. Holly and Bridget meet with beginner instructors on the training slope. Kendra immediately starts heading toward more advanced terrain, which surprises no one. If there's a path labeled experts only, Kendra's already halfway down it before anyone has finished reading the sign. One of the instructors quickly catches up to her. He politely asks her to slow down and spend a little time reviewing the basics before taking off on her own. Things like trail etiquette, how the runs are marked, where beginners are likely to be, blind spots, right of way, how not to accidentally become tomorrow's cautionary tale.
Snowboarding is one of my favorite things ever to do, and I love to go fast.
Hey, Speed Racer. Slow down, huh? Let's just pull up here for 1 second and just get some things sorted straight up.
I hate people telling me what to do.
That was a really big mountain, so if you take the wrong turn, you're going to end up on a black bump run.
It's honestly very responsible instruction. And Kendra is visibly annoyed. In confessional, Kendra tells us she hates when people tell her what to do. I think Kendra genuinely equates instruction with someone doubting her abilities. But the instructor isn't saying, "You're bad." He's saying, "I'd like to make sure you're safe." Kendra hears, "You don't think I can do this." Those are completely different messages. And it's interesting how often that misunderstanding pops up throughout the series. Meanwhile, over on the bunny side of the mountain, Holly and Bridget couldn't be more different. They're asking questions, listening carefully, trying every exercise, accepting corrections. They don't seem embarrassed about being beginners. They're actually excited to learn. People sometimes assume confidence means charging ahead without help. But there's another kind of confidence, being comfortable enough to say, "I don't know how to do this yet." That's what Holly and Bridget demonstrate here. And before long, it's paying off. Well, for Holly anyway. Bridget spends most of her lesson introducing herself to the snow. Again, and again, and again. Every few minutes, down she goes, which is perfectly normal. Everyone falls when they first snowboard. The problem isn't the falling, it's the tail.
Whoa, your girl down. All right, stand up again. All right, now what happened? Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Oh, I instantly had problems with my bunny tail. The second I fell, which I fell quite often, the tail would just pop right off, even though it was pinned on.
Fire in the hole, clear.
Tail on the bunny.
All right, tail on the bunny.
Every single time Bridget lands on her backside, the fluffy cottontail pops off her snow pants and rolls away. Every single time. The poor instructor has to stop, walk over, retrieve the runaway bunny tail, brush the snow off, and pin it back onto her pants. only for the entire process to repeat about 30 seconds later. And visually, I couldn't stop thinking, it looks like she's farting snowballs. Little white cotton puffs shooting off her behind every few minutes. Now, do you think that was the polished Playboy Bunny look she was going for? You almost expect the instructor to eventually say, we could just leave it off. But no, Bridget is committed. If she's snowboarding as a bunny. Practicality be damned. Meanwhile, Kendra has found exactly what she's been looking for. A box rail. The goal is to jump onto a narrow metal rail, balance across it while sliding, and land cleanly on the other side. It's one of those tricks that looks effortless when professionals do it. Then you try it yourself, and suddenly you realize balance is a cruel joke. Kendra decides she's going to land this thing. She lines herself up, drops in, and she falls off. Back up the hill, another attempt. Same result. Again. She never quite makes it to the end of the rail before slipping off. Now, Kendra has always been portrayed as athletic, and she absolutely is. But athletic doesn't mean instantly good at everything. Snowboarding is its own skill set. You can be coordinated, fearless, competitive, and still spend an entire afternoon getting humbled by one stubborn piece of metal. Fortunately, Kendra doesn't seem discouraged. If anything, she becomes more determined. The more the rail wins, the more she wants a rematch. After a full day on the mountain, the girls head back to the condo, looking exactly how you'd expect 3 beginner snowboarders to look. Exhausted, a little sore, probably discovering muscles they didn't know they had. But there's a surprise waiting for them at the condo. 3 massage tables have been set up in the living room, along with 3 massage therapists. Now that's how you end a day on the slopes.
Ow! Ow! Those massages were so nice. Oh my God. Ow! Is that a rib? What is that?
Every once in a while, Kendra would say something really random, and we'd all start cracking up.
Okay, now one thing you gotta know. My legs are very hairy.
The girls happily climb onto the tables, and almost immediately the room fills with laughter. Mostly because Kendra can't seem to decide whether she's enjoying herself or being tortured. Every few seconds it's, ow, ow, oh, ow. She's also apparently one of those people who like to chat while they're being pampered. My legs are very hairy, she warns her massage therapist. After working all the knots out of their bodies, the girls clean up and head out for dinner. Holly encourages Bridget to try the elk medallions. Bridget is hesitant. The editors know she's hesitant, and they absolutely milk it for all it's worth. Suddenly, the background music changes. There's dramatic build-up, reaction shots, close-ups, even ticking sound effects while everyone waits for the food to arrive. The way it's edited, you'd think Bridget had just ordered off the Fear Factor menu. Finally, the plates arrive. Bridget takes one cautious bite. She chews. Everyone waits. Then she shrugs and says, it's not bad. Cue the triumphant little ta-da sound effect. Ladies and gentlemen, she survived dinner. Meanwhile, Kendra has absolutely no interest in trying elk. She's sticking with what she knows, which feels very on brand. As dinner winds down, Kendra asks everyone what their goals are for tomorrow. I actually love this little conversation because each answer tells you something about their personality. Holly says she wants to stay on her board and throw a pair of panties into a tree. Bridget says she'd like to get a picture with the ice castle. Again, very Bridget. Half adventure, half scrapbook. The memory almost seems as important as the activity itself. And Kendra? She's still thinking about that rail. After an entire day on the mountain, that's where her mind goes. Not the scenery, not the resort, not meeting Shaun White tomorrow. The rail. She wants another shot. I think that's actually one of Kendra's most admirable qualities. When something gets under her skin, she has a really hard time letting it go. Sometimes that's impulsive, sometimes it's stubborn, but every once in a while, it's exactly what pushes someone to get better. And tomorrow, she's going to have one of the best snowboarders in the world helping her do exactly that. The next morning, everyone is feeling yesterday. The girls slowly make their way around the condo, looking a little stiff, a little sore, and moving at about half speed. Thankfully, room service arrives to save the day. The girls refuel, shake off some of the soreness, and before long, there's another knock at the door. This time, it's Shaun White. Before heading to the mountain, Shaun takes the girls into a ski shop where another surprise is waiting. Lined up are 3 custom Burton snowboards made specifically for each of them.
Today we're getting our personalized snowboards, and I'm really excited to see what they look like.
How cool is that?
That's hot. Yes.
I love it.
Awesome.
Thanks.
That one's awesome.
Oh, that's cute. See?
No.
That's why I had to wear the outfit.
That is all time. Okay.
Shaun presents each board almost ceremoniously, one by one. Kendra's is exactly what you'd expect. Bold, sporty, Chargers colors. And across the bottom is her nickname, K-Dub. It perfectly matches the image Kendra has cultivated throughout the series. Next comes Holly's. Simplistic, mostly pink and white with a small Playboy Bunny logo incorporated into the design. It's clean, pretty, understated. It feels very Holly. Then, there's Bridget's. Now, I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't this. From one end of the snowboard to the other is a giant photograph of Bridget wearing her blue bunny costume. Apparently, when Burton asked what she'd like on the board, she simply sent them a picture of herself and essentially said, "This." And yep, it's unapologetically Bridget. There isn't 1 ounce of hesitation, no second guessing. No wondering if maybe dressing in bunny costume on a mountain and snowboarding down it on your own bunny likeness is a little over the top. She fully commits. Watching the scene, I couldn't help paying attention to Shaun White's face as he handed the board to her. His expression is priceless. It's polite, professional, but there's this tiny split second where he almost seems to be processing what he's looking at. Like, interesting choice. Or maybe, I have definitely never seen one of these before. But Bridget absolutely loves it. She proudly holds the board up beside herself, turns around, and gives everyone a little wiggle of her bunny tail. With their new boards in hand, everyone heads back up the mountain. This time, Kendra ends up riding with Shaun White, while Holly and Bridget continue working on the basics. It's probably the smartest arrangement. Kendra is ready for more advanced terrain, while Holly and Bridget are still focused on building confidence. Almost immediately, though, things get a little chaotic.
I wanted to show off so bad, that was my main thing, was showing off in front of Shaun and just impress him. You know what I'm saying? My first couple minutes of snowboarding with Shaun turned out a disaster.
Kendra cuts across the slope directly in front of Shaun. It happens fast, really fast. 1 second they're riding, the next they're on a collision course. At the last possible moment, Shaun somehow launches himself over Kendra, flipping clear of her and avoiding what could have been a pretty nasty crash. The two of them laugh it off afterward, and thankfully no one is hurt. But you can tell it got his attention. It's another reminder that no matter how experienced someone is, the mountain has a way of keeping everybody humble. Holly and Bridget are having a much different day. They're still taking things one run at a time, trying to stay upright and improve their technique. And then Bridget finally reaches one of yesterday's goals, the ice castle. Unfortunately, instead of posing gracefully in front of it, she crashes directly into it. Sometimes the universe writes the joke for you. Back on the terrain park, Kendra has only one thing on her mind: the rail. She hasn't forgotten about it overnight. If anything, she seems even more determined to conquer it. Attempt after attempt, she keeps coming back. This is where having Shaun White there actually becomes really cool. Instead of simply watching, he offers advice, little adjustments, timing, approach, body position, nothing flashy. Just practical coaching from someone who has done this thousands upon thousands of times. Kendra listens, makes the adjustments, drops in again. This time she lands it cleanly. The look on her face says everything. She immediately drops to her knees in the snow, almost like she's saying a little prayer of gratitude. It's a genuinely satisfying payoff because we've watched her struggle with this trick since yesterday. It would have been very easy for production to only show the successful attempt. Instead, we see the failures first, which makes the success feel earned.
One more time. So I did exactly what he said for me to do.
Just keep it straight. You got this. Yeah!
I nailed it on the third try. I'm so happy.
That was perfect.
Years later on Girls Next Level, Holly and Bridget both suggested they thought there might have been a little romance brewing between Kendra and Shaun White during this trip. Personally, I'm not convinced. Could they have been flirting? Sure. Kendra's personality naturally leans playful and flirty. But what I mostly see is an elite athlete getting excited when someone genuinely wants to learn his sport. Shaun seems enthusiastic, encouraging, patient. Exactly how you'd hope someone of his caliber would be. So while it's certainly possible there was a little chemistry, I don't really walk away from this episode seeing some great untold love story. Eventually, the afternoon starts winding down and it's time to say goodbye to the mountain. The girls thank their instructors, say their goodbyes to Shaun White, and begin making their way back to the condo to pack for the trip home. But before the suitcases come out, Holly remembers something she'd said at dinner the night before. Her goal: to throw a pair of panties into a tree. And because Holly is Holly, she follows through. She and Bridget step outside carrying a pair of underwear and begin looking for the perfect pine tree. Somewhere months later, a squirrel probably had the most glamorous nest in Colorado. I also think this little scene says something about Holly's sense of humor. Unlike Bridget's bunny tail, which always seemed tied to maintaining a certain image, or Kendra's relentless pursuit of the rail, Holly's goal is completely pointless. And that's exactly why it's funny. She's not trying to impress anyone. She's entertaining herself. Those are usually the best kind of jokes.
Our trip was awesome. I love traveling. I love for the three of us to hang out with each other, and it's more of a bonding experience.
Pop and boom!
I hear my baby.
Hi, honey.
Hello, my sweet.
I'm a snow bunny.
Before long, it's time to head home. The episode cuts back to the Playboy Mansion where life has continued exactly as it always does. Hef is sitting around the card table with his usual group of friends. The routine rarely changes. While the girls were out learning something new, meeting new people, seeing a different part of the country, life at the mansion stood perfectly still. I couldn't help noticing that contrast. The girls leave and their world expands for a couple days. Hef stays home and his world remains exactly the same. Whether the editors intended that comparison or not, it's hard to miss watching it now. The girls arrive back at the mansion looking tired, happy, and more than ready to be home. One by one, they greet Hef with a kiss before disappearing upstairs to unpack and I imagine sleep for about 12 hours. And just like that, the trip is over. Looking back, Snowboarded is easy to dismiss as one of those sponsored vacation episodes. Beautiful scenery, luxury resort, brand partnerships, an Olympic athlete making a guest appearance. On the surface, there isn't a lot of conflict, but I actually think there's more going on than first meets the eye. Kendra spends 2 days trying to master a rail she refuses to let beat her. She wants to maintain control over her identity as the sporty one, the athlete. Bridget is chasing a different kind of control. She carefully curates the image she presents to the world. The bunny ears, the tail, even a snowboard featuring a giant photo of herself in bunny costume. Whether she realizes it or not, she's constantly reinforcing the identity she works so hard to earn. And then there's Holly. Ironically, the moment she gains the most control is the moment she lets go of it. She leaves the mansion for the first overnight trip in 6 years. She isn't checking in, she isn't managing Hef's schedule, she isn't worrying about movie night. For just a couple of days, she simply exists somewhere else. It's a tiny shift, one she probably didn't even recognize at the time. But looking back now, it feels like one of the first glimpses of a woman beginning to imagine a life that wasn't completely defined by the mansion. It's funny, everyone comes home with something different. Kendra comes home having conquered the rail. Bridget comes home with another story and hopefully a bunny tail with stronger stitching. And Holly comes home with something you can't pack in a suitcase. Proof that the world keeps turning even when she's not at the mansion. Sometimes the biggest turning points don't announce themselves. Sometimes they look like a weekend in the snow. And next time, we'll continue our rewatch of Season 3 as another chapter of The Girls Next Door reminds us that even the smallest moments often take an entirely new meaning with hindsight. Until then, thank you so much for listening to more Girls Next Door. If you've enjoyed today's episode, I'd love it if you'd leave a 5-star review wherever you listen to podcasts. It really does help more people find the show. Oh, and don't forget, email a screenshot of your review to moregirlsnd@gmail.com to be entered into the ongoing giveaway for a More Girls Next Door Y2K Survivor hoodie. I'll be picking multiple winners throughout the season. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.
On the bricks.